Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I have an easy holiday dessert recipe for you and we'll be making my no-bake cranberry orange cheesecake. Now if your oven is as busy as mine during the holiday season with turkey, side dishes, and pies, then this cheesecake recipe is for you because you don't need the oven and it's super easy to make. We're going to start by making a simple graham cracker crust. We'll make a homemade cranberry orange sauce, then we'll mix together everything for that cheesecake batter, let it set overnight, then we'll come back to garnish with whipped cream and more garnishes on top. This cake is so pretty, super festive, and incredibly delicious. I love the combination of the creamy cheesecake with the tart cranberries. So delicious. Head on down into that video description box for all the recipe details up on my website, including this recipe with metric measurements. And now let me show you how to make this delicious cheesecake. Let's get things started with the crust. We'll need 12 graham crackers. We'll drop these into a food processor and then pulse until you have fine crumbs. Pour in a third cup of melted unsalted butter, and this is going to bind all these crumbs together. And we'll pulse again really quick just to make sure all the crumbs are well coated. Transfer the crumbs into a 9-inch springform pan. Spread the crumbs evenly. And then use the bottom of a glass to press the crumbs firmly into the bottom. You want a nice firm cookie layer. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to bake the crust for about 15 minutes and then we'll set it aside to cool. Now technically you don't have to bake the crust since this is a no-bake recipe, but I do find that giving it that quick bake gives the crust a nuttier flavor and a firmer texture so it doesn't crumble as easily. Next, I'm going to make my homemade cranberry sauce starting with 3 cups of fresh cranberries. You can also use frozen ones, just let them thaw first. Pour in half a cup of freshly squeezed orange juice and add a third cup of white granulated sugar. Stir this all together and we're going to let this cook over medium heat, bringing it up to a simmer. Now I'm making a homemade sauce today, but you can absolutely use a store-bought cranberry sauce for this recipe too. Bring the sauce to simmer over medium heat. Let it cook away for about 8 to 10 minutes until all the cranberries are popped open and the sauce thickens nicely. Once my sauce has thickened nicely, I like to take a potato masher and crush the berries further. I don't want the sauce to be completely smooth. I do want to have a little bit of texture, and this is the perfect way to do it. I'm going to take this off the heat and let it cool down on the side while we make our cheesecake batter. Let's get started on the cheesecake batter. I'm going to start with 1 cup of well-chilled heavy whipping cream. I'm pouring this into my mixer bowl and I have my whisk attachment on. Whisk the cream for a couple of minutes until stiff peaks form. I'm going to transfer my whipped cream into a separate bowl, set it aside for now, and then we're going to get started on our cream cheese mixture. I've switched my mixer over to the flat beater attachment, and I'm going to drop in 3 8-ounce packages, so 24 ounces total of softened cream cheese. Just let this sit out at room temperature for a little bit so it's easier to mix. And I'm going to cream the cheese all by itself for about 5 to 8 minutes, and you want to just stop and scrape down the bowl occasionally until the cheese is really smooth and creamy. To add some incredible orange flavor to the recipe, I'm going to add the zest of 1 large orange. Next, we'll add in 1 cup of sour cream, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, half a teaspoon of sea salt, and we'll pour in 1 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk. Mix this all together for a couple minutes. Make sure to stop and scrape down the sides of your mixing bowl to ensure everything gets incorporated. And now it's time to add our homemade cranberry sauce into the cheesecake batter. Drop it right in. We'll give that all a mix. And again, you can always use store-bought cranberry sauce if you don't have the time to make some fresh sauce, but honestly, this is so easy and it tastes incredible. And now it's time to prepare our gelatin. I'm using half an ounce of unflavored gelatin powder. That's 2 of the Knox gelatin packets. I'm going to pour in a couple tablespoons of water. Mix this all together. Make sure you don't have any dry gelatin remaining. And then I'm going to take this over to my microwave and let this cook in 15-second intervals until you have a hot liquid gelatin mixture. And then slowly pour in this hot melted gelatin into the cheesecake batter with the mixer running. I kind of do it on the side so it doesn't hit the beater. And the final step is incorporating that whipped cream that we made at the beginning. Drop that into the cheesecake batter. And then use your spatula to gently fold in the whipped cream. And this is going to give the cheesecake a light and fluffy texture. My cheesecake crust is completely cooled, and before we pour in the cheesecake batter, I'm going to line the sides with a plastic cake collar. I get mine on Amazon. I'll make sure to link that in the video description box below. Time to pour in this cheesecake batter. Give it a few taps to settle. Smooth it out with the spatula on the top. And our cheesecake is ready to go into the refrigerator. I recommend letting it chill for at least 8 hours, or better when it's overnight, so the cheesecake sets up really nicely and firmly. Then we'll come back to make some whipped cream, garnish the cheesecake, and dig in to enjoy. Now let's make some whipped cream for the topping. I have 1.5 cups of very well chilled heavy whipping cream. I'm going to add 1 cup of powdered sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I also like to add just the tiniest touch of sea salt. It really helps balance out the sweetness. Whisk this all together until you get stiff peaks. And make sure to start out on a slow speed so all that cream and powdered sugar doesn't go flying everywhere. And then transfer the whipped cream into a pastry bag tipped with a star tip. I'm using a Teco tip number 847. And I like to make lots of whipped cream. There's going to be extra that you can add on the side with each slice. I made a second cheesecake overnight and it's completely set now. So let's take it out of the pan. Look how beautiful this turned out too. So you want to find the end of this plastic wrap and just very carefully peel it away. Gently slide this off and onto your stand. And now let's add dollops of whipped cream on top. And I like to garnish with little segments of oranges, fresh oranges. Some fresh cranberries, green sprigs of rosemary, and some pomegranate seeds. And now let's cut into this beautiful cake and give it a little taste test. And let's take a peek at this gorgeous cake. How beautiful does that look? And this recipe makes extra whipped cream because I love to add some extra on the side. And that's it for my no-bake cranberry orange cheesecake. I love how beautiful this turned out. It looks so festive. This is going to be perfect for the holiday season. Thanksgiving, Christmas, or even New Year's, this is the cake you need. Don't forget to head on down into the video description box for all the recipe details. Up on my website, I also have this recipe with metric measurements. Now let's dig in to enjoy. This looks phenomenal. I love the texture of this cheesecake. It almost looks like a mousse cake. Let's grab a little bit of the cake itself, some of that crust, and a little whipped cream off the top. Now this is one phenomenal cheesecake. The cranberry orange flavor is out of this world, and I love the texture of the cake. It's not too sweet. It has lots of the tartness coming through from the cranberries. You get a light hint of that orange zest, but the texture is so good. It's so creamy. It's fruity. It's so delicious. I can't wait for you guys to try this incredible cake. When you do make it, come back, leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you liked it. Thank you so much for watching my latest episode. I hope you have fun making this incredible cheesecake at home, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.